What's going on, people? Welcome to another edition of Gen Sports Corner back at you for December 22nd, 2019. Got a few things to talk about. Big fight last night between Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo, the second fight, the rematch. It was pretty interesting, man. The lead up to it was funny as hell, and the fight did not disappoint, in my opinion. And then a lot going on with basketball with the Sixers, and then obviously it's Eagles Dallas week, so big game today, 425, playing at the link. So we got to get it done at home, man. This is the time to make it happen. What's going on, Mark? Just about to get into the Dallas game after I talk about the fight. But Eagles is a make or break time. And also I have to talk about the Darren Sproles retirement as well. So a couple things on the docket. But first things first, let me get into the fight from last night. It was a rematch between Jermell Charlo and Tony Harrison. If you guys didn't see the first fight, I believe it was last December. Yeah, last December, 21st, I believe. Jermell Charlo had the belt at 154. His big brother, who's like what, his big twin brother, whatever, has the belt at 160. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get to the bird soon enough, man. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on that. But yeah, Jermell Charlo came into that fight last year defending his WBC strap, and everybody thought it was going to be a dress rehearsal, like a walkthrough. You know, you're defending against your mandatory or whatnot. And he went in there, and him and his brother fought on the same night. And the crazy thing is, he fought Tony Harrison, and Tony Harrison ended up getting the decision against him. The decision against the guy that he fought at 160. But in my opinion, I thought that both decisions were incorrect. I thought that Jermell actually beat Tony Harrison, and I thought that his older brother lost to that guy who was somewhat of a no-name at 160. So go figure. But either way, it was a controversial decision. I thought that Charlo won. I'm not his biggest fan, but I call it like I see it. I thought he won the fight, and I thought he got jobbed. You don't typically see the house fighter lose in a fight that his company or his management is promoting. Like, you're the house fighter. So there had to be something about what you did or didn't do in that fight that made the judges not see the fight in your favor. So he ended up losing, I think, on all three cards, maybe. It's Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison, Detroit boy, he just came out and he got the dub. And there's this whole big thing after the fight. You know, Tony Harrison was like, yo, it was a great fight. I'd be honored to run it back with you. You know what I mean? I appreciate, the challenge that you brought. And Charlo, him and his brother, they're the type of dudes that they're talented, don't get me wrong, but they're very arrogant. And that's one thing I don't like about them. And he came out, he was just like, yo, I got jobbed. You know I won this fight. You told me, after they said the decision that you thought I won the fight. And Harrison was like, come on, bro. Like, I didn't say that. Get out of here. And from that point on, it was just two trains on a collision course over this past year. And there was this whole big controversy about ankle injury that Harrison suffered in training camp. That's why the fight didn't happen back in June. So they had to delay it until yesterday on the 20th. A lot of animosity. And to be honest with you, outside of Joe Frazier and Ali, and this is saying a lot, that had to be one of the most entertaining series of press conferences leading up to a fight that I've probably seen, because I've never not thought Charlo was going to win the rematch, which he ended up doing. But I've never seen one dude be in another man's head that deeply. Like Charlo, like at every press conference, the man could barely finish a sentence because he was just, you could see this mad that he felt like he got jobbed in that first fight. And Harrison, like every time Charlo would try to say something that he thought was funny, he'd be like, man, shut up, man. You a cornball. And Charlo could not deal with that, man. He was just like this little kid that, like when when you come to class and two people have been beefing, and that one kid, they've been practicing everything they've wanted to say in the mirror, but when they get into school and they come face to face with that person, all that just goes out their head. That's kind of what it was like with Charlo. It looked like he practiced his whole speech like Birdman in the mirror before he went up to the Breakfast Club, like, put some respect in my name. And then when you sounded like you just didn't know how to get your words out. You just need to get in the ring and fight. You don't need to be talking too much, because a guy like Harrison, he went full troll mode and just got in this man's head, rent free, just living in this man's headspace. No rent, free 99. It was hilarious. Even if you didn't watch the fight or don't care about the fight, you should go ahead and look it up on YouTube. Just look at the Tony Harrison, Jermell Charlo press conference. Trust me, it's going to make for an entertaining Sunday if you don't have anything else to do today. But the fight was pretty good. It didn't go as I expected. I thought Charlo would win. I thought he'd make the adjustments, but Tony Harrison came in and just expanded upon what he did in the first fight and cleaned up some of the mistakes he made. And he just came in jabbing this man's head off, boxing him, outboxing him on the inside, just completely schooling him. And the crazy thing was, the second round, Charlo knocked Harrison down right near the bell. And then after that, up until the 10th round, I had it 7 rounds to 2 Tony Harrison, man. I thought he was washing this boy. 10th round came around. I gave another one to Charlo, so that made it 7-3, 7-4 with the knockdown. So it would mean he would still need a knockdown or possibly a knockout, depending on how the judges were scoring it. Because, Harrison was doing whatever the hell he wanted to when he wanted to. Wasn't necessarily hurting Charlo, but he just controlled and dominated the fight. And then the 11th round came. He got that TKO. Boom. And it really came down to, I thought that Harrison was being a little careless. And he was being careless at moments leading up to the 11th round. But he was just getting a little too relaxed, I would say. Like he was putting it into cruise control. And he got caught with a punch. I wouldn't say it was a lucky punch, but it was a punch that he had been avoiding all night. It's a punch that he had been defensively responsible against. And it's just one of those things that happens. Short of that, if he didn't catch Harrison with that punch in the 11th round, Charlo was going to lose. Like this time for real. So either way, it was a good fight. I hope they run it back for a third time. That would be awesome. Because even though Charlo won, if he doesn't clean up the way he fights, Harrison or another fighter, like he has the skill, but he needs to clean up a lot of the mistakes. So that was that. But like I said, look at the press conference. It's fucking hilarious, man. But all right, on to the NBA and the Sixers. Sixers played last night against the Wizards, won 125-108. We had a loss about a month ago against the Wizards. That was a little annoying because we're a better team. They're not a good team at all. They're a bad team, and we lost to them. So it was good to see the Sixers come out and get a victory against the Wizards and keep pace with the Bucks and the Heat, because that Heat loss, that was big. That was a big loss there. And even though Joel Embiid, he had like 33 and like 17 rebounds, they just didn't do enough. That 2-3 zone just really had us baffled. And that on ESPN on First Take, they play a 2-3 zone and you don't make the adjustments until midway through the fourth quarter. That's unacceptable. And shout out to Matt 007, and Chris DeCaz, my co-host on Playmakers. And I know Matt in particular, he has an issue with Brett Brown's coaching, his adjustments, what he does in the critical moments of the game. And I share that sentiment because, look, you see that for the third quarter, all right, you should come out in the fourth. You should be putting Joel Embiid in the post, throw him the ball down in the post, and then have people slashing to the net. Really break up that zone. John Chaney, Hall of Fame. That was one thing that really made his teams tough back in the day when he used to implement that zone. He just suffocates you. And that's one of the ways you break up that zone is by getting somebody big in the post and then having people slashing to the net and just really compromising that zone. And the Sixers did not make that adjustment until halfway, almost with like 4 minutes left into the fourth quarter. And then, it shouldn't take you that long. You should have that. If there's anything that concerns me, it's that. I would say is that. Ben Simmons' jumper does not concern me. He's shown us, excuse me, that he can shoot a good jumper. The release looks good. The form looks good. He's hit threes, and they've looked good. They ain't ugly or nothing like that. He's able to hit a mid-range pull-up. I think he'll do that more as the season progresses. I think you do a lot of good things on offense. The three-point shooting has gotten better. The defense has been suffocating all year. But it's those late game, critical crunch time adjustments that have me concerned. Maybe Brett Brown isn't the guy to get it done in the clutch. I don't know that yet, but this year is going to tell you, if anything, because you have the talent, there's no excuse. So we'll see. Let me know what you guys think about that, though, because that's something that it has to be concerning if you're a Sixers fan. You got to think about those things. And then lastly, let me go ahead and get into NFL Week 16 action. We had 3 games yesterday. They were actually pretty good games, too. The Bills-Patriots game, that was a close game. I thought the Bills could have possibly pulled an upset. I didn't think it was going to be an easy game for the Patriots just because they were playing in Foxborough or Gillette Stadium, whatever it's called now. Because you have a really good defense in Buffalo, and that Patriots offense is not that good. It would be interesting to see what happened if they clashed in the first round of the playoffs, because I think the Bills can beat them. But we'll see. That was a good game. Patriots pulled that out 24-17. Big game yesterday with the 49ers winning. Chris, your team is off the 3-game losing streak, I think it was. So you guys wrapped up the division. Congrats. No, you didn't wrap it up yet, but you got a much-needed win. So going to week a game that decides the division, depending on what the Seahawks do today. And then the other game, what was the other game? The other game yesterday, Texans at Buccaneers. How do you have Jameis Winston throw 4 interceptions, but you still only win the game by 3 points? The Texans, they're 10-4, but they're one of the most broken 10-4 teams that I've seen in a long time, because they're just so hot and cold. Their offense, they're so hot and cold. They really are. They more of a threat out of that division if they make the playoffs than the Texans are. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into today's games, and I'll give you guys my prediction and breakdowns on this. Jaguars playing at the Falcons. Falcons favored by 7.5 points. I think that's a pretty fair spread. I think the Falcons are a better team. They play better down the stretch. They're playing as if they want Dan Quinn to keep his job, and they should have been playing like this since week 1 and not waited until week 8 to do this. But that's neither here nor there. I had the Falcons winning. Jaguars are just not good. Ravens at the Browns. Ravens favored by 10 points. Look, I'm gonna tell you something straight up. This is a tough matchup for the Ravens, and they had a tough time last time against the Browns, and they lost against the Browns. And now they're playing in Cleveland. I just think that the Browns match up well. I think that the Ravens will win this game. They'll make some of the adjustments that they didn't make last time, but it's not going to be an easy game. The Browns, as inconsistent as they've been, I just think they match up well. It's going to be a tough game, but I have the Ravens winning this, going to 13-2. Then the Saints playing at the Titans. Saints favored by 3 points. I do believe that this is tough, man. This is a tough one right there. Saints at Titans. Man, I wish I remember what teams I picked earlier this week on Playmakers. I'm going with the Titans in this game. I think that the Saints, they have issues outdoors, and this Titan team is a rough, rugged team, and Tannehill is just consistent under center. I think I'm going to go with the Titans. Panthers at the Colts. Colts favored by 6.5 points. I think that's fair. Panthers are just too inconsistent this year. Bengals at the Dayton County Dolphins. Bengals favored by 2 points. That just man, that really Bengals favor. I think the Dolphins going to wash these dudes. Uh, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't think the Bengals are going to beat the Dolphins at home. I don't think the Bengals are very good at all. But okay. Steelers at the Jets. Steelers favored by 3.5 points. I have the Steelers winning this game. Uh, they. I don't know how they made it to 8-6. Mike Tomlin has really done a hell of a job coaching this team into a winning record and playoff contention. And they're just a better team than the Jets right now. They do have their faults, but I just think that they're overall more put together than New York is. The Giants playing at Washington. Giants favored by 1 point. I think that's I haven't looked at the injuries for this game. That's what would be the deciding factor for me. I think that I'm going to go with the Giants. But this is really a 50-50 coin flip game for me because both teams are just not good. Eli Manning, he's a liability. This has to be his last year. He hasn't looked good these past 2 weeks. But the Redskins, they are who they are, man. I'm gonna go with the Giants, just barely, man. Next on the docket, Lions playing at the Broncos. Broncos favored by 7.5. The Lions, they have really fallen apart without Matt Stafford, and their second string quarterback, I think Haskell, he's out for the year with the hamstring. So like their third stringer, his flaws have showed. The rookie quarterback, his flaws are being exploited, and we've seen it the last couple of weeks. The Broncos with Locke now under center, they look a little more steady, and they just do a lot of things better than the Lions. Their defense is going to give the Lions some issues. I got the Broncos winning this game. Cardinals at the Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 9 points at home, and I do think that they'll win by maybe a touchdown. The last time they played the Cardinals, they had that. I think they had a tough time, but I think Seahawks win this at home, and this will be a big win for them because then it'll come down to week 17 where I think they play the 49ers, right? Yeah. Then it'll come down to week 17, and then that'll be winner takes all. So this is a huge game for the Seahawks. They they get this win, then they can say we going to take this number one seed in week 17 if they win. So we're going to find out what they're about. But I have the Seahawks winning this game. And then the Sunday night matchup tonight, the Bears playing the Chiefs in Chicago. Chiefs favored by 7 points. I believe that Chiefs win, but it's going to be a closer game because now they have Akeem Hicks back in Chicago. He's healthy. That run defense is going to be back solid, and he's going to help the pass rush as well. They're going to be back to that close to that defense that they were last year. It's going to be a whole different ball game. And that Chiefs defense, they're not great. They're not super bad like they were last year, but they're not great. I got the Chiefs, but in a close game, and hell, who knows? The Bears might be able to win this game because their defense is they can match up across the board with that Chiefs offense. And then tomorrow night's game on Monday, Packers at the Vikings. Vikings favored by 5.5 points. I now have to agree with that. I think the Vikings defense, they're starting to come into their own right now. They're starting to shape round into form. And I think that the loss of Dalvin Cook, I don't think he's starting, him or his backup. I don't think they're starting. So you know what? I have to take that. I have to take that back. I think that the Packers might win this game because without Dalvin Cook, that's pretty much Kirk Cousins' safety valve. He looks one read, bam, Thielen's hurt all the time. Second read, Kyle Rudolph, and then he doesn't never look Stephon Diggs way anymore, and he just checks it down to Dalvin Cook. Now Dalvin Cook's out. I don't know how that's going to affect the offense and their consistency. So I'm going to have to go with the upset here. I think the Packers go into Minnesota and pull out this win. Now that Minnesota defense, they're for real, but I just feel as though the Vikings offense might be too much of a liability for them to win this game at home. So, but who the hell ever knows with the Vikings? They're so inconsistent from week to week. Now to the real games. First up, my Raiders playing at the Chargers. Chargers favored by 7.5 points. And there's not too much for me to say about this game because Josh Jacobs, I don't know if he's going to be starting today, but he has the fractured shoulder. He's been playing through that. That's not good to have when you're running back. You know why? Because your head and your shoulders are connected, and you kind of need your shoulders to break through tackles and absorb contact. It's not a good injury to have as a running back or as any player, but especially as a running back or a quarterback, let's say. And he's been one of the key cogs in our offense. Without him, it takes away a lot from this Raiders offense, man. They don't have enough. And on defense, we had a good game last time against the Chargers, but I don't know if we are able to recapitulate those results that we had before. I have to go with the Chargers in this game. The Raiders, we had an up and down year. We had a lot of good things that we did, a lot of things that we have to learn from and grow from, a lot of injuries. Carl Joseph out for the year. We lost Abram, the other safety, rookie safety, who was a headbanger. We lost him in like week 2, week 3, I think against the Bears or something like that. And, those injuries add up. But all in all, the season ain't over, but I don't see us winning this game. But hopefully we can pull this game out. But I have the Chargers taking this game. Then on to Eagles, Dallas. The Eagles and the Cowgirls. The saga continues. You feel me? This is Dallas week. If you ain't about it, go somewhere else, man. This ain't for you. This ain't for the faint of heart. If you ready to win, I need y'all to ride out with me. But if you're not, then don't come on this podcast because I'm not finna deal with the dumb stuff, man. I'm not finna deal with the games. Now, that being said, I actually picked the Cowboys to win on the Playmakers podcast, and I did so for a couple reasons. One of the big reasons was we've just always had an issue playing the Cowboys. Just, in the past couple years, we've been 5-1. No, we've been 1-5 against the Cowboys when Zeke Elliott is healthy. And our issue is that we don't do a good job stopping that run game. We don't do a good job gang tackling. And the injuries always play a factor. Now, say what you want about the Cowgirls, but one thing you can't deny is their level of talent. They have a lot of talent, and they have way underperformed compared to their talent level. And one of the things that I've been keeping a note on this week, and I haven't looked at the injury report, but Dak Prescott got an MRI on his shoulder on Wednesday because he was experiencing discomfort. He wasn't able to throw the ball as well as he has before. I think that Amari Cooper was noting in the game against the Rams, or maybe it was the game before, where Dak was just he went like 1 for 8 or like 1 for 7 at a certain point. He was just missing throws that were throws that he can make and throws that he usually makes. And people just couldn't really understand what was going on. And I think that injury has something to do with it. Now, I don't know how much of it is hearsay and smoke and how much of it is actually fire, how much truth there is to how this injury is going to affect him and the severity of the injury. But that's something I've been keeping tabs on, because if he's really compromised by this injury, that changes everything. It changes everything, because when a guy can't throw, and if you play football, peewee, high school, college, whatever, when you know that there's a little kid on the other side of the ball that can't throw that well, and the run is coming, you just stack the box. I don't care how good of a running back you are. Short of being Barry Sanders with Scott Mitchell, And as good as Zeke Elliott is, he's not Barry Sanders with Scott Mitchell. He's Emmitt Smith without Troy Aikman. Like, imagine if people were just able to stack the box against Emmitt Smith because they knew that uh what's their coach name? Uh, the hand clapper. They knew that he was in the game because Troy was injured. There's a difference between Troy Aikman and Garrett. You know, the hand clapper. Like, you know what you're getting. So, if Dak Prescott is not playing, or if he's severely compromised, or if you come out the first 15 plays and you just see him, every pass is just like playing darts with a blindfold on. You have a pass here, 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 all over the place. Trust me, man. If I was a D coordinator, if I'm gonna play on that defense, I'm smelling blood. I'm coming for that net. I'm like, he a liability out here, man. Your boy a liability. We about to eat him alive, man. This man's lunch. And we're going to stack the box, and we just going to, like, demoralize Zeke Elliott, because he's going to break off a couple runs here and there, but more often than not, I'm bringing 8 in the box. Oh, we own him. So that's something to watch. That is the key to the game. So I'm going to give an open-ended prediction. If Dak Prescott is not healthy, if he's severely compromised by this possible injury, I think the Eagles will win this game and win it pretty handily. But if Dak Prescott is healthy, I think that the Eagles, with the injuries combined with how well Dallas matches up across the board, I believe that Dallas will win this game. So that's my thoughts on it. What's up, Chris? Mark, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Chris, I just talked about the 49ers and your playoff scenario, because you got the dub yesterday. You need I'm not sure how this. Oh yeah, you need either way. You need to beat the Seahawks next week in week 17, because if you don't, you lose the division tiebreaker because you lost to the Seahawks once already. So you guys need to. You got the win that you needed, but now you need to take care of business in week 17. So week 16 is going to be a heavyweight matchup between the two best teams in the NFC least division. On the red corner, 7-7, hailing from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia Eagles. And in the blue corner, hailing from Dallas, Texas, the Dallas Cowgirls. Battle of the Not Titans. And then week 17, Battle of the Titans with the Seahawks and the 49ers. So let me know what you guys think about that. Games about to come up soon. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And Christmas is coming up. So make sure you enjoy yourself. Be safe. Don't do anything too stupid, and just enjoy yourself. Enjoy your holidays. And I'll catch you guys on the next episode of my podcast before the New Year's. So as always, thank you for tuning in. And enjoy the Sunday, man. Peace.